Good afternoon, everyone. So I've noticed this week in the discussion boards, lots of us are worried about the video podcast. There's a lot of concern about how much time it's going to take, or just how we're going to be able to effectively put together a video, because most of us are used to maybe doing presentations, memos, papers, things like that. So I want to take a few minutes to run through 6 tips that I think will help you make a better video podcast. First tip, make sure you write a good script. So if you're in my face-to-face class, I always require you to submit the script, and then we talk about it together. That's not possible in the online class. You're not going to be submitting the script as a separate assignment. You'll just submit it along with the video itself. But it's still important that you use the script for what it's intended for, which is to give you a detailed minute-by-minute breakdown of what you plan to say. If you put in the work to write a good script, you're almost certainly going to end up with a good video podcast, because the script is the skeleton. It's the bones. So put in the time, make sure you really write that script out, plan for about 200 to 250 words for every 2 minutes of video, and you'll be in good shape. When you're writing the script, make sure that you chunk your ideas. So if you were writing a traditional research paper, you'd have a thesis at the top that sets up the organization of your ideas, and then each paragraph would develop a single main idea, or potentially even just a portion of an idea. You want to follow the same general approach in a video podcast or any type of video. You want to organize your ideas by first presenting your overarching theme or claim or argument, and then paragraph by paragraph, in the case of a video podcast, minute by minute or section by section, you develop that argument. So this brings me to my third point. Once you know what you're going to say, think about what the images that you want to use will add. So maybe you're going to use a picture that helps illustrate or support the point that you're making. Maybe you want to use a bar graph. Maybe you want to use a pie chart. Maybe you want to put the quotation that's most important in that particular moment of the video up on your screen. Whatever you're doing, think about how the visuals can enhance your argument. It doesn't need to be a one-to-one correspondence. I'm sure we've all sat in presentations where someone reads off of a PowerPoint, and that's infuriating, right? You want your visual to add to what you're saying, not necessarily to repeat what you're saying. Fourth point, make sure you do a full practice run. This practice run is going to give you an opportunity, one, to make sure that you've got the right amount of material, that you're hitting that 10-minute mark. 2, it's going to give you a chance to get your mistakes out. So when you're shooting a video, the first time through, even with the script, you're going to make some mistakes. So if you plan to have at least one practice run where you just go through, you get used to what it sounds like, you get used to places you want to pause, places you want to emphasize, you'll be in much better shape. Related to this, make sure you leave yourself lots of time for editing. So just like you want to have time to practice at the beginning, you got to make sure that you have time to go back and make changes, potentially even to redo portions of what you've done. A video, much like a document that you're writing, like a research paper, needs to be a polished final product. And that may require you going back in and making some changes. It may entail swapping out images. It may mean reshooting a part. Obviously, the degree to which you're able to do that is going to vary based on the platform. So if you're using Prezi Video, which is what I'm using right now, you can't really edit in a wholesale way. If you're using Movie Maker, if you're using iMovie, then you're going to be able to go back in and switch parts out. If you're using Screencast-O-Matic or another app to screencast what's on your screen, again, you're going to have slightly fewer functions. So given that it's a 10-minute podcast, you may find yourself reshooting it. And that's okay. Just make sure you leave yourself lots of time. Final point, use YouTube. I just rattled off a lot of different options for apps, for programs you might use to put your video together. I am not an expert in many of them. I know how to use some, but not others. I don't expect that you're an expert in any of them either. However, you're resourceful college students, so you're going to be able to use YouTube and other resources to get answers to your problems. If you don't know how to do something within an app, there's like a 98% chance that you'll be able to find out how to do that using either the app itself or YouTube. So be resourceful. If you come across any problems, YouTube, Google are your friends. Get the answer you need and make a slightly better video podcast. So I hope these tips are both helpful in terms of what you need to do over the next week, week and a half, but I hope they also help assuage some of your anxieties, some of your fears and concerns. The video podcast is a lot of fun, and it is a great skill to have. I promise you, even as an educator, I probably make more videos than I write research-based papers. And if you're not in education, then you'll be doing a lot more videos, likely presentations, than you will papers. So this is a great skill to have. It's a good opportunity to develop this skill. So don't stress out too much. Plan, leave yourself plenty of time. Think about what you're doing. Check in with me and relax and enjoy the experience.